Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Legacy Boss podcast. We're so super excited that you're here. My name is Shauna Klein, along with amazing Marcy.
Oh, I'm amazing today. I love that.
She is amazing. Everything that's Marcy is amazing. So we're super glad to be with you guys today, and we hope that you are ready with pens and paper and ready to take some notes on building connection online. So I think this is really kind of a big topic because, and I know I say that every week, I'm like, this is a huge topic. I think that we've exponentially moved our needle like 5 years in advance because of the coronavirus in 2020.
Yeah.
So I think that we felt maybe that this was going to happen. Like for a while, businesses have kind of been moving to online, but I think that the coronavirus and the 2020 pandemic literally sped it up like 5 years. You agree?
Well, absolutely. I even remember reading back in it was like 18 or something. I mean, it's so long ago, right? But they predicted that in 2022, 45% of Americans would have a side gig of some sort. So whether that was like direct selling or having an Etsy shop, even driving Uber, like 45% of Americans would be making money from home. And I know from Corona that we've already reached that, and that's 2 years sooner, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's probably higher at this point because so many people were forced to look at a plan B, even if they never had that in their mind to begin with.
Well, I think that so many people, not just because that they were having to come up with a plan B, but just the cost and expense of today's living. Like we've never had a position where we're forced to, the cost of cars, everything, the cost of houses, everything has just, you look back, 50 years ago, what a car cost, and you're like, $900, what? And now it's like just to get a decent car, it's like 30 grand. So, we've come in a very, it's a very different thing. And so moving the needle, we have to be able to connect on social media. And I think the connection part is kind of gotten a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, to say the least. Squirrely is a nice way to put it.
Well, and I know a couple of weeks ago we had Mike from Stonecoat on, and he was talking about making sure you make those connections that are authentic so that engagement and you're assisting someone, because again, people don't care about your thing. They only care about their thing and how you're going to help them get to their thing, right? Because that's just how we are.
Exactly. And I mean, there's that old adage of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. And so you really have to be that person that is giving and giving and giving and showing up just to serve, without constantly asking for things at the same time, or people that, will just like randomly send you a message of like, hey, go to my link. It's like, who are you? And why do you think I need your link? Like there's no building. Like you want to just walk up to someone in the stranger and like throw your business card at them, right? And be like, here, you need to buy this. The people will be like, and who are you? So I think we have to remember that although there isn't that face-to-face necessarily in social medias, that you can't just do that because you feel safe because you don't see their face, right?
For sure. So the first thing we're talking about is building lasting connections with our customers. It's essential. I was just talking to someone the other day on one of the Facebook groups that I am an admin of, and they were really frustrated with visibility and engagement, right? So it's a thing, like just getting frustrated. And their response is, I'm not really sure where to go from here. And my response was, and you and I have talked about this many times, like, are we posting sales posts every single time? If we are, like, so we lose people There's there's an engagement that kind of fractures there. And you and I've talked about the 1-to-5 ratio. So you want to break that down, the 1-to-5?
Yeah. And it's just like, almost think about one of the favorite boutiques that you would go into. Most are all starting to open now. So I know, like for me, I've been frequenting as many businesses I can, especially the small businesses in my towns, just to show support, right? Yeah. And so what do you do when you walk in there? Does someone just like throw up sales on you and just start tossing products at you that you need? No, they're like, hey, how are you? How have you been? What have you been doing? Oh my gosh, how is your kid that's at college, right? You have some banter, you have a relationship. And then at some point they're like, hey, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for, a cute dress. Oh, really? What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to be going to a wedding. Oh my gosh. Right. Like you have a connection and a real way of speaking. And so in your social medias, you really kind of need to do that same thing, right? You need to have discussions and ideas and share parts of yourself, share who you are and what's going on and what your thoughts are. And then of course you mix sales into that, but it cannot just only be sales. Like you just, like you said, you'll turn people off really, really fast.
Yeah. So one of the things that we suggest is the 1-to-5 ratio, meaning that one of your posts is sales to every 5 of something else. Engagement, making sure that you're sharing something personal. It doesn't have to be super deep personal, but just, maybe it's a picture of your dog or an animal that lives with you, or it's something that someone else can, have a different viewpoint of you. Maybe it's a behind the scenes. Maybe it's, there's all these different things. We have, the social creative, we talk about that, but that's what we do. We help people with those things. But that's if we're not doing those things, then we don't have any buy-in into something other than a sell. So then it becomes like a Target commercial, right?
Yeah.
And then who wants that?
No. And see, and again, I think it's where people just go back to that comfortability of, okay, I don't really have to speak to anybody, right? Like I don't have to have that one-on-one conversation. And so I think people have the tendency to revert to sales because that's the easiest thing. Nobody really wants to feel like a salesman, but it's easy to just put up a picture of our product and go, here's my website, here's my latest, product, XYZ, instead of doing those things, like you said, sharing some little bits and pieces of you. And of course you have to do what's comfortable for you. We're not saying to like lay your life out on the line unless that's who you are. There's some phenomenal people on social media that are really open. And what they do is they draw people and people are drawn to them almost like a moth to a flame, right? Because they love that. They maybe are craving that real deep connection. And then other people that are like maybe superficial, even though that kind of sounds like a negative word, are like, I don't want to know about you. They get turned off, but you know what? That's okay. That means you're attracting your tribe and you're repelling those who really aren't going to have anything to do with you. So that's a good thing. But again, that's a scarier thing. It's a harder thing to do. There's some of that fear mixed in.
Yeah.
And that fear brings that uncomfortability, which means that we're growing and we're trying to stretch. And the inner us doesn't want to do that. It says, no, stop. That's too painful, or this is comfortable right here. Just keep doing this. And so we have to kind of quiet that voice, right?
Yeah. And it's a whole pivot. Like we have to make a conscious decision. That's why you and I are so big on content scheduling. Like, because otherwise, if we are just flying by the seat of our pants and we're like, oh shoot, I forgot to post this or show up on Twitter or show up on Instagram or Facebook, then the easiest thing is to pull up the last picture that you took in your feed on your phone and just post something. Then it's not that authenticity, right? And so then we move into this next stage that we're going to talk about, which is transactional versus transformational. And this is a big thing for me because I have worked in fields that it's very, it's a product and you're selling it. And then I've worked in very much of a transformational business development. And so the transactional can be done by anyone. There's nothing special about it. It's like like buying a package of socks. I mean, I'm not loyal to just the one type of socks. If my kids need socks and only place I can run into is Target, and the last ones I bought were from Amazon, I'm going to find something that works for them. It's a transactional thing. It's not something that goes any deeper than that. Maybe there's a favorite brand, but I can deviate away from that because it's just transactional. Whereas transformational, that's a whole different, we're on a different plane here.
Yeah, totally. And again, I think that's where that fear comes in, right? I think a lot of this just comes down to maybe some limiting beliefs that people have. Like, I'm scared to share that because I don't want to be vulnerable. And, I'm not that person. I'm not good enough to share things like that on social media. So I'll just revert to just being a sales transactional person. Yeah. And again, you can do that, but the brands that can do that are huge brands. They're like worldwide known brands, and they can just pop up a new pair of shoes and be like, buy this, and people will buy it, right?
Right.
But you aren't that brand. One day, right? People will just know you by your first name, and you can just snap your fingers and, sell 1,000 things in a minute, but you're not that brand. So you really have to do what these boutique businesses do, what these boutique small, brick and mortar businesses do, which is make real connections with people so that they want to search you out. They want to take the extra time it takes to find you or go to your website or those kind of things instead of just quickly buying whatever. They're like, no, I like this person. They're amazing. They make me feel a certain way. When you can get that emotion attached to your customers, then there's a real connection there, right? Again, it's about being with people. People want to have connections with people. That's why social media really is as big as it is, right? Yeah. It's because we are now take away Corona, right? Even before that, we are so busy with our lives and our work and all the things that we have to do that we don't have all this luxury of time to just casually talk to people or meet up at parks and have coffee dates. You might have a coffee date, but it's like, I got to go coffee date, right? Yeah. And so social media allows us to really get to know people if they'll allow us to. And if someone will allow you to, and you feel like you can be a part of them and their family and their business and their growth, and they're from launch to success, like you'll hook that customer for life.
Yeah. So good. It's interesting. Probably the best analogy I've ever seen about a product company moving from just selling to a transformational sales is Subaru. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the ad on TV where the teenage driver is driving his parents' Subaru, and all of a sudden there was a rainstorm, something happens, and he gets hurt, and calls his mom, and he tells her what's happening, and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And he's like, yes. And it just changes. And Subaru's tagline is, we help get your loved ones home. The point is, they never said where to buy a Subaru. They never even showed the Subaru car logo until the very end of the commercial. You had no idea what it was. And so it was such a huge thing. Now, guess what? My husband and I went and bought a Subaru because they are such a great thing. And unfortunately, the sad part has been that we have tested that theory twice. And my daughter almost died this summer in a tragic hit and run car accident. And it was by the grace of God in the fact that they were driving a Subaru that she didn't die, because they all would have. But again, it was something that they took from a product to their messaging was, the most important cargo that you have, which is your family, we will get them home. they didn't have to tell me how many miles we get to a gallon. They didn't have to tell me if it had luxury seats. It didn't have to tell me
Yeah.
if, you know, you got great resale value. None of that mattered. It was, are you going to bring my loved ones home? And so
Yeah.
the difference between a transactional is you're going to give me all the bullet points. You get, you know, 34 miles to the gallon. You get, you know, 200,000 miles warranty. You get this, and it's got bucket seats, and it's got this and this and this and this. That's transactional. The transformational commercial is, I'm going to get the people that are most important to you back home so you can hug them. Do you know,
Yeah.
see that and the difference? And so when we're thinking about how we connect, we have to connect on this level where we see people and we hear them and we know them.
Yes. I mean, write this down. Write this down right now, right? If you're listening. And if not, come back or, you know, hit pause, grab a pen, but it's really simple. Facts tell, stories sell. I'm
Yeah.
sure anyone that's listening to this and Shauna's story about her daughter, we're like, oh my gosh, like I need a Subaru. Like they should be paying you for that. What you just said, Shauna.
Yeah, because now everybody in my family owns Subarus.
I know, right? But I mean, I've heard that story. I lived with you through that. And even hearing you say it again, like I have chills again, just because I could feel that emotion coming through you in your story. And when you create social media posts, even if they aren't video, even if you don't hear them, you can still write them and evoke those emotions. So facts tell, they'll tell us all things all day long. Fine. You know, facts are boring. Stories are what sell. So a story about you and how you're building your business and what you did today and what hard thing happened that you went through and all those things. And then when you share your product, when you get to that 1-to-5 ratio, right? People are like, yes, that's awesome. I love that. And they don't feel like they're being sold to. And that's really a big key because again, it's feel, right? People want to feel things.
Yeah.
And they don't want to feel sold to all the time. You know, our brains know what's happening and they just skip on through.
Yeah. I mean, and we're in such a scroll culture.
Yeah.
So if we don't connect with something, and the thing is that we want to read something on the other side. We have this, I call it the stopgap in our brain. It's like a loop, and we have to close this loop gap. It's a loop gap. And if you ever watch kids, it's hysterical when you do it because you'll start telling them a story. I know you have 7 kids, so I'm sure you've done this. If you start telling them a story and all of a sudden stop, you never get to the point or you never get to the punchline of the story. They're like, what happened? What happened? What's the next part? We all do that. That's why when people start telling something about somebody or a story and then they stop, they get interrupted, they'll come back. I've seen grown men do it. They're like, what happened? You know, we always have to finish this loop gap in our brain to finish the circle so that we know what happened next. We finish the conversation. And when we do that, we feel fulfilled. So that's why so many people, when they get stuck and they don't know the next step, they get stuck in that analysis paralysis because it stops their movement, right? And so our brains work in a way that we need to have all of the pieces of the puzzle. So when you have something that happens, leave the breadcrumbs so that people are following you through the process. One of the things that really brilliant people do on TikTok now, I know Marcy does this, or she has done this, is that she'll do 4 parts on a TikTok or 3 parts on a TikTok because she'll give a little bit on the first one and a little bit on the second one, a little bit on third, but you got to watch all of them in order to get all of the information because people want to know and they've got to follow those breadcrumbs. So when you're showing up and you're doing things in a way that is bringing people along your journey, you're going to have much more transformational encounters and sales than transactional sales.
Yes, absolutely. Preach.
So right. So our final one is how do we find customers and how do we build engagement? Super easy. Everyone that we talk to, I would say that Marcy and I deal with 75% of the people, if not more. they say sales is their problem. They say marketing is their problem. They say consistency is their problem. All of it can go under the umbrella of visibility.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And it's again, it's showing up consistently on social media. I mean, if you've heard that 100 times that you're sick and tired of it, write that down too. Be consistent, because that really is the key. When people start to follow you or click on you because they found something, and they actually then go over to your page or your other videos or your other posts, they want to see a story there. They want to see some things. And if it's like, oh, well, they only post randomly or sporadically, or their last post was from a month ago, that's going to be a big disconnect right there, because they're going to go, oh, well, I don't want to get invested in this person because I don't know when I'm going to see them next. It's like that friend that you reach out to all the time and they never respond. Pretty soon you're like, nah, like this isn't working for me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a no.
Yeah. So finding people is simplistically complicated.
Very true.
People are like, what? How can it be simplistically complicated? So here's the deal. It's simplistic in that it's everyone can do it. Mm-hmm. It's complicated in that most people won't do it.
Yeah, because it takes time.
So I want to, we're writing a brand new thing for our new program that we're coming out with on how to grow engagement in TikTok and online in short video form. And I was reading some things this morning, and it was so interesting. They said that in order to stop the scroll for TikTok, somebody actually needs to look at your content. And when they click on your content, then they'll click the picture and see what other content that you've produced before they click follow. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have, like, if you put out like a really intriguing post or video, and then they click on your thing and you have 3 other videos that have nothing to do, and there's not a lot of content, they actually will not follow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my whole point. Like, you have to have some other stuff going. And if they click over to you, and this is so true on things like Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, that's a little bit harder to find out right away because it's not so picturesque. But if all they see is like spammed sales posts, nobody will click you to follow. No, they're like, it's one of those. Yeah. Right. We don't want to be one of those. We want to be one of those that is reaching out across our social media platforms and say, hey, this is me. It's good to meet you. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. And when you tell someone about yourself, you tell them about all the things, right? Yeah. You show and share lots of stuff. You know, what's funny to you? What makes you sad? A great thing that you had happen today, a fun behind the scenes of making your product, sharing your family, sharing holidays, and then go, oh, by the way, look at this that I have for sale. Here's the fun promo. And then you revert and go back in the circle, right? Yeah. That's what you do with people. You don't just go, oh, hey, I'm Marcy, and then I just throw up everything about my business on them. They'd be like, she's cray, never mind, right?
Back in the sales world, in the corporate world, we used to call it show up and throw up. You could always tell when the people were walking in the door, they added no value at all. They just showed up, and in the first 2 minutes, they were blah, 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 and you're like, you didn't get a word in edgewise, and you're like, can I speak now? Because I'm not even the person that you need to be talking to.
Yeah. Right. So a good thing to do is, audit yourself. Go onto your social medias and be like, would I follow me? Yeah. And if the answer is no, like, it's okay. Don't delete everything that you have. Just start that different transformational social medias. And so I would encourage you, to definitely go look at social medias that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're not going to, fall into the comparison trap, but you want to look at it with a lens of, why do I like them? What are they doing here that draws me to them? And
Yeah.
how can I then apply that to myself and my own brand and my own product and my own life? And then
Yeah,
you
for
just go from
sure.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that I find is so, this is like, to me, the key that unlocks so many doors. And I'm gonna give you one of our tips and tricks that we share inside of our coaching, but also in the social creative, is find people that you can up level yourself with by connecting your businesses. I'm not talking about like actually connecting, but I'm talking about, if you are a candle maker and that's all you do, find someone that's in home decor that does
Mhm.
this other things, that doesn't sell candles, that you can work together to up level your business. Because when you work together and the waters rise, all ships rise. People are so tired of hearing
Mhm.
me say this, but it's so true. When you do not have, that is not your zone of genius, find someone else that has that other thing and get connected, because you have such a wider net to throw, a much more fish. You're going to get you're going to grow much quick. You're going
Yeah.
to expand your reach, and you can help promote each other. And so it's a brilliant way to grow quickly, is to utilize other people's audiences. And you can do that not spammy, not like backhanded, not weird. I mean, we have a lot of things that go on in the product world that people like just hook up their wagon to someone and think they're going to go crazy, and it's just going to overnight blow them up. We're not talking about that. We're talking about authentically teaming up with somebody else in their
Mhm.
zone of genius and making it a way to build each other up.
Yeah, a million percent. And if we're looking also at our social media, I think what you also need to do, just like Shauna said, is expand your reach. I mean, you are the culmination. I'm saying that wrong.
Culmination.
Culmination of the 5 people you hang around with the most.
Yes.
And what I see a lot of businesses do, especially in the direct selling business and that industry, I love it. I'm in it myself, so I'm not bashing here. But what I see is they all stick together.
Yeah.
Again, it's a safety thing. Maybe it's that comfortability. And I remember doing a training with my direct selling company and with a big team that we have. And I said, you need to stop only having friends in X company, because then your whole feed is only filled with all of your friends. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to be friends, right? But it's just like Facebook, Instagram, whoever you're commenting on and reacting with the most, that's who they're going to feed you. So stop
Yeah.
reacting to them. You can be their friend, right? But you want to react with other people. You want to
Yeah.
interact. You want to comment. You want to like, because then Facebook and Instagram, they're going to show you that. And therefore, you are going to be shown. If you
Yeah.
are only sticking to that one niche, just like Shauna said, if you're a candle maker and you're only sticking with candle makers, you're not going to find these other relationships and connections. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to reach out just because they're not in what you think is your little bubble, right? You want to grow that bubble.
And we've got to just throw off this competition thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can only be the person who is doing this around my people. As
Mhm.
if we're so self critical that we don't feel good enough about ourselves, that we're afraid that someone else is going to steal our tribe.
Yeah.
Because we have to understand that we draw people that are for us and we repel people that are not for us. And it's okay that not everyone is for us. And so
Mhm.
engage with the people who want you to be for them. And the other people just say that's going to be a no for me and move on. Keep moving forward. I posted something on Instagram. It was last week or the week before, but it got a lot of responses, and it was something along the line of, you're not going to be for everyone, and everyone's not going to be for you. And while everyone is stuck in this competition, like rut, keep trucking, because they're still focused on the people that they're worried about. And you're going to keep moving forward, and you're going to keep making, sales and cutting paths and finding all these stuff. I mean, we're always one step away from our greatest breakthrough, right? Mm-hmm. So keep moving forward. Keep your feet going.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, let other people focus on you, and you just focus on your dreams and your goals and your purpose-driven path.
Yeah.
That's what you focus on, because then you're going to move forward. The people that are focused on everybody else, you're stuck, right? And that's not what we're about here. We're about building that legacy, which means you just do you, boo, right? Like you just keep going and learn and grow and take those steps forward and see who you can surround yourself with is to where you want to be, because they're going to pull you towards them. If you hang out with people that you're like, I'm over this, they're going to keep you there in that place, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the crab in the bucket syndrome, right? I mean, it's one person pulling. As soon as someone gets up, someone else pulling them down. Surround yourself with people who want more and are thinking bigger than you are, because they will literally go behind them and pull you up to where you want to be. I want to be surrounded with people who are doing crazy, incredible things, because they're the ones helping me up, right? I'm not going to keep surrounding myself with people who are like, this is all the bandwidth I have. I can't do any more. Marcy did a really funny TikTok recently about, what's your excuse? Because I got 7 kids and run 4 businesses, and I get real tired when people are like, I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so you'll have to check it out on Marcy's TikTok, but it's funny. But we have to be intentional. And if that means that you need to hire someone to get the overwhelm off your plate, hire someone. Guys, it's a scary thing, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And you got to find yourself somebody who is at a higher place than you are to help pull you forward. So if you don't have a coach and you need one, get one. I know we're like, hey,
I know.
If you have the overwhelm of social media, get something to help you, like the Social Creative, where you're going to uplevel yourself. And it's $30 a day. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
No, a month. $30 a month, girl.
So did I say a day?
You did. That's kind of a lot.
Sorry, people. It's $30 a month. And that is equivalent to 5 days for one of my Starbucks coffees, because I'm a little extra. So $1 a day. But then there's other things. Maybe you need to find somebody that is going to help you find a building, whatever it is that you have. I'm just throwing out illustrations of different things that you need to know, but find out where you're getting stuck. Where's the cog in the wheel? Where is it that it keeps stopping? My husband and I were talking about this morning, and we were discussing something, and I said, where is the sticking point? Like, let's identify it. Let's own it. And then let's punch it in the face and move forward. But you have to find out where it's at. And so find out where your sticking point is and get unstuck. Choose to get unstuck. If you need some help, we're here to help you. I mean, we just launched this last week, the Total Boss Club. I don't know of anything else less expensive.
Right? $7 for coaching. For both of us, once a week, you get a new video. And of course, like, we're always doing bonuses because that's how we roll, right? $7 for coaching. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I really want a coach to help me progress and give me some, inside tips and things that I need, $7. Like, that's cray.
Level up.
Level up. And it won't be $7 forever, right?
No, it's definitely not going to be $7 forever. No. Now, if you're already grandfathered, we might slide you in there, but it's not going to be $7 forever. But we hope that you guys take the suggestions of of making sure that you are connecting. Figure out how not to just be the 5 days a week or the 7 days a week on sales. Like, make it about something else. Inside the Social Creative, we give you the ideas and the prompts, and we help you with that. Number 2, transactional versus transformational. Always go for the transformational connection and sale. And number 3, we've given you a couple tips on how to find people and engage with them. So if you are listening and have not subscribed to our podcast, go do it. If you're on iTunes, make sure you give us an amazing review. Well,
we deserve it.
Marcy's saying 5-star. I believe that you're going to give us great reviews because we show up and serve. But yeah. And if you do leave a review, also send us an email at info.legacyboss@gmail.com. It comes directly to us. We will send you our DM Magic. It is
amazing.
8-page guide on how to get authentically showing up and engaging on Instagram or Facebook through direct messages. Not spammy, guys. This is not where we're at. We're talking about authentic and being our connection and being consistent and being transformational. So it's not weird. But if you shoot us an email at info.legacyboss@gmail.com, we will send that over to you guys via email, and you'll get a freebie. So leave us a review, and because that's how we roll. We like to give away free stuff. I feel like I'm like Oprah. Free this for you and for you and for you. If you're not watching,
we are totally Oprah, level. So of course we can do that.
Well, thanks, friends, for joining us today. As always, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you leave us a review. Subscribe on YouTube if you're watching this via video. We like to do video and podcasts, so whatever your viewing or listening preferences are. And make sure you join us over at the Legacy Boss website, legacy-boss.com, for more information and some freebies and all kinds of other fun stuff. And we will see you all next time. Bye, friends.
Bye.